On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
There's a lot of news in the world today.
News that might surprise you, startle you, upset, or maybe impress.
News that's not always for the faint of heart.
That's why the man who failed his way to success, Heath Oakes, is stepping up.
Tackling today's headlines with ignorance on fire in a way only a millennial mogul can.
Take off your sport coat, grab a beer, and enjoy the conversation.
This is Second Shot with your host, Heath Oakes.
So what's interesting is my whole life, every time I've said my name, people go, Keith? Pete? And I was going, Heath, like the Heath bar, you know? And it has a lot to do with my accent. But
sure.
Our guest today, Marcia, her husband's name is Keith. And so, like, when Keith and I we're all, like, together and, like, somebody comes up and we don't know them, we introduce, like, they never understand him either on his name. And then they come to me and they're like, Keith? And no, Heath, like... And it's like, okay, so it's not, there's something with the Keith and Heath thing that throw them off, but we got our guest Marcia in today, first time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so I was just talking about it because that's her fault. Her name is spelled Marzia.
It's not her fault. Her
and
name
I've always called her Marzia. And so I found out today it's Marcia, right?
Uh-huh.
Marcia,
and
yes.
so I told her that that's her fault because she has never corrected me on all the, and we've all hung out many times. Together that she's never corrected me till telling me today that it's Marcia. And I'm like, well, now it's going to be trouble for me to say the right thing because now I'm going to have it.
Hey, when your name has been butchered your entire life, you're like, whatever. Just
roll with it. And then Zach and Matt is always on. What's up, guys?
Hello, Marcia. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
I'm curious, how many conversations, how was there ever a conversation on the drive home with your husband, Keith, when he was like, Marcia? And you're like, don't worry about it. He doesn't know. It's fine. Like, did that ever...
Yeah, actually, he did not know my name for a while.
Okay.
Yes, for a couple of weeks. He's like, is it Marisa,
Oh,
Marcia?
yeah.
Like, he was like, I don't know. What is it?
Right. Well, so how did you two get tangled up with each other? I know we're going to talk about it in the third segment. I don't want to get too far into it, but just cursory here because I don't know. Yeah.
A legit blind date before Google and where you can go on Facebook and stuff.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
legitly.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know.
Well, that's very
It's rare these days.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. No. So a straight up blind date.
Blind date. So we have
Blind
the
date.
same
Y'all
hair
didn't
guy.
see pictures or anything.
Nothing. We have the same hair guy.
Yeah.
And so he had just broke off an engagement. I had been divorced. And
Yeah.
we've been single for a while. And then my hair guy's like, hey, let me set you guys up. And I'm like, I'm not going on a blind date. That was my first and last blind date.
Yes. Yeah.
But I saw him and I was like, he was a Southern gentleman. He opened my door. He was so nice. I'm like, I'm going to give this guy a second shot.
Yeah. There you go. There you
Wow.
go.
Oh, she's already on the show. I love it.
Keith and I get along very well. We have very many similarities, I think.
You do.
We
You
always,
do.
whenever we're out with a bunch of group or whatever, Keith and I always end up usually kind of just chatting with each other for a while. So.
Well, how did you meet
Jenny.
Marcia?
Marcia, there you go.
I wrote it down. I looked down. I was like, Marcia. Yeah, I'm going to, okay.
Don't worry. I'm not going to correct you for a couple months.
It'll be great. Oh, gosh. All right. That'll be the next segment. Perfect.
Yeah, through my wife, Jenny, and all of that kind of intermingle of all the friends that everybody's all friends of friends. And
I dig it.
Yeah.
Well,
and we're gonna on the third segment. What we'll do is obviously with the new guest is always get into kind of Marcia's story and kind of talk about the business she has. She has a business and has for quite some time, and we're gonna kind of get into her story and kind of the business she's in, and seeing if maybe there's some stuff that for some of our listeners that she may be able to help them out with as well. So we'll do that in the third segment of this episode. But we got to get it kicked off here with this first headline, which I got to say, I'm in awe of the ingenuity, you know, like it's like you want to have some respect, you know?
Yeah.
But you can't.
No.
So tell us a little bit about it, Zach.
Yes, the headline is cheerleader allegedly brings pot brownies to school for homecoming queen votes. A Michigan high school student allegedly baked pot brownies, 12 of them, for classmates in an effort to gain homecoming queen votes. Hartford patrolman Michael Prince, no relation I assume, who is investigating the incident, told WWMT-TV some of the brownies, 9 of which are still unaccounted for and at large, were given to football players.
I'm sure they're not at large. I have a feeling
Yeah.
they're in a belly
No,
somewhere.
Yeah. We're given to football players in goodie bags as a way to campaign for homecoming queen. The school confirmed the report involved students are being dealt with according to district policies and student handbooks. No word on if the brownies won her the homecoming queen title.
Whoever
Bummer.
confiscated the brownies probably took the last remaining ones.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the confiscation is in their bellies. You ain't going to find them.
Those school cops, they know what's going on. Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Oh, dear.
So disclaimer, kids listening, do not make pot brownies for people. Let's make that very clear.
Yeah, come on.
This is hilarious. I have to applaud her ingenuity, her creativity, her
Right.
thinking. She obviously has a drive and determination to win. Like
True.
She wants to be the best, right?
And she's hitting up the A-string football team for it. She knows what's up.
Well,
she knows the structure.
She knows the strings to pull
yep.
for her people to get what she wants. She's like, you know what? That right there will win me votes.
Yep.
It's called networking.
It is.
Yeah.
So you got to applaud that.
And politics.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
a perfect politician. I mean,
Perfect.
but it's not going to work out well for her.
No, not
It's
at
not
all.
gonna. It's not gonna go good. Like it's
Yes.
you can't stray left and it work out for you in the end. You know.
You can campaign the right way and you can campaign the wrong way. So
yeah.
she's learning in her little life, a young life, the wrong way.
And you're right, though. Like, when you step back and look at it objectively, there's so much here correct.
Yes.
Like, you had a product people in your bracket wanted. Like, you knew who to talk to. You knew the strings to pull. But man, oh man, you still committed a crime.
There's no such thing as a shortcut, right? Like you gotta put in the work. You can't just make a bunch of pot brownies and hope things will work out, right?
Yeah.
Well, and she could have done many other things to help probably win that over. I mean, but that shows a drive and determination. And you know the good thing is I this is why I'm thankful for second chances. This is why I'm thankful for do-overs. Kind of like that one thing doesn't determine who you are and what you are forever. Because what I hope is that somebody can grab this kid, and this ain't going to ruin her life at all. You know, it's nothing going to be. I mean, she may never be able to run for politics, especially anything you do forever
With pot, yes.
Well, she was almost homecoming queen, almost there, almost touched greatness.
But the thing is that if somebody can channel that determination, that drive, that will and want to win, and get her on that right, not veer off, she could do some big things.
It could, but it has to be either her parents to teach her a lesson from this and kind of look at it objectively, or it's going to have to be some teacher or mentor, because if not, she's going to fall in with the wrong crowd again and keep making bad decisions like, ooh, this could have worked, let me try it again, but a different way, and then it's another bad decision versus failing forward where you're successful at it. Like, ooh, this is not the right path. Maybe I should try this path and put a little extra work in to get to there.
Yeah. And what I've always thought about too is, and in my book I talked about like a lot of how easy it is when you're striving for anything, to take the little bitty notches and the little bit of stuff is going to come your way to take a little easy route at times, building a business or building your relationship with your partners better.
True.
Or whatever it is. There will be these little outside influences that go, look, just this one little wrong thing isn't, if you're training for a competition,
right,
take this one little steroid shot, give you a little boost.
Correct.
And then that leads to one more, to another one, to a snowball. The next thing you know, you are full blown a fraud.
That's right.
And that's what happens in business and in life. And that's probably what happened to this young lady, which is trying to drive for all that. And it's like, oh, I really need them. This would be that over the top thing, even though it's wrong. But the wrong way always comes back to bite you. You will always never end up in the spot that you need to end up in by doing it the wrong way. It may look like it on surface for a little while,
right,
that you're killing it, right?
True.
And it could be 5 years, 10 years. It could look like you are home free, but it will come down.
No, definitely come down. Like what is who her network is, her family, her boyfriend, obviously this time you're in high school, her friends, are they all smoking pot together? Like,
obviously.
Were they all just sitting there like, hey, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
You should put a pot, brownies. But I mean, obviously she didn't act alone. It was other outside influences, like you said. And how is that going to shape her? And what happens when she comes back from this? Are they actually going to help nurture her into the right path, or let's go back to this wrong path again, into whatever she does, whatever endeavor she does?
Well, and the thing is the wrong path will come your way over and over and over. I had a friend of mine that was a guy that he calls himself almost a recovering do-no-gooder is what he called himself.
Okay.
'Cause he always would do things a shady way.
Yeah.
And like we playing golf one time, and it's just me and him playing golf. Like there was no money involved. No, it's just I suck at
He's
golf.
trying to cheat you.
Yeah. Well, no, and he he like flubbed his little shot, like and the ball went 5 foot. Where I was like, oh, just grab it and hit another. I mean, we're not playing for anything. We're just. Yeah. And he's like, no, I got to count that stroke. I said, why? He goes, I have to count that because my personality is I tend to want to cheat things.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't count this one little stroke, it can lead me to some other little thing. He feels like it could be. I'm like, you're stretching it, but he knows him to know. One little thing, even if it's a friendly game of golf, to not count that stroke because that can lead him back to.
That's a loyal guy, loyal to himself.
It is, and to know, but that's what people don't take seriously. In the wrong thing is it's the little bitty wrong things you do,
right,
that make it easier to make that wrong decision on the big one. Because you've done so many little ones. So like that little bitty, like not counting that one little bitty stroke, snowballs and makes it easier to make the wrong decision on a bigger-ish situation because you've made so many little wrong ones.
Yeah, because the wrong path sometimes is the easier path, right? And sometimes you're like, ooh, this feels good. But after you've been critiqued or criticized or found out by people, then it doesn't feel so good.
No.
So when you do the right path the right way, then you're like, oh man, this really feels good.
It may be longer, tougher, and harder and more grueling, but it'll be long, sustaining, like an absolute real thing that's not going to fall apart at any given minute. And Zach, I know you're trying to get. What were you saying?
I'm trying to jump in here. No, there's a visible amount of immaturity in the longevity of this plan because what's the deal? 30 years from now, she's gonna look back and be like, oh yeah, that time I was homecoming queen. Nobody remembers high school. Nobody cares. It's so
you don't
small
know any
time.
different in high school,
right? But at the time when you're in high school, it's a big deal, and she's going about it the wrong way. Because even if you do look back in 30 years and go, man, I was homecoming queen. That was great. You didn't earn it though. You kind of cheated your way into it. So did it really work out in the end? What were you really doing it for?
Yeah, I just say to go. I think you need to look at yourself in your life on all of the little bad decisions you make, all of the things the little cheats, the little behind the screen things you do, because I truly believe if you continue to lie to yourself and do little bitty lies, that you really not count that little golf stroke when it's really there's no money, it's just a friendly game. That doesn't sound like a bad thing, does it? No. Nobody. No. I mean, I was like, dude, just pick it up and re-hit it. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? But those little bitty things,
they add up.
When you consistently do them, that when that really big thing of you can, stab that person in the back to make yourself more money, it's easier to do it because you made so many wrong ones that's your habit you have built up in your mind. So as a kid and as a young person, or even as an adult that's going down any of your roads, understand and know that the long process and the long game is the right way, is the sustaining way, is the way that can consistently build whatever you're trying to do. And be prepared for those little side things to come in at you, and they're going to throw those little dodgeballs at you, and you got to dodge them, not take them. One little thing will snowball into a whole lot of things, and I hope that somebody grabs this young lady and she gets hit with the reality right now that this one little bitty seemingly smaller thing doesn't snowball into something big, because things can come your way, and when you go the wrong way, it may, you may look good for a little while, but it will come crashing to an end. It never fails. Always, it sometime crashes down. So we'll be back in a minute for the second segment of Second Shot.
He's a suit and tie kind of guy with deep Southern roots. Keith Oakes hosts more of Second Shot coming up on RNCN.
To all of my friends in the great state of Texas, if you have not taken advantage,
I have a way to save you a ton of money. I have saved over about $3,000 in the last year, and I have no hassle. Go to energyogre.com, put in the promo code SECONDSHOT. Now listen, promo code SECONDSHOT, and you're going to get a free month just for signing up and saving a ton of money. So don't be crazy. Stop sitting around talking about, is this the real deal? And go do it right now. energyogre.com, promo code SECONDSHOT, and a free month. Thanks. Go get it now. Run.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
We're just over here teaching Zach a little Spanish.
Big words you're throwing at me.
Because I just learned from Marcia that I didn't realize she was Spanish. You know, she was a Hispanic, and you know, Jenny is as well. And I was both saying they're both Wedo. And Zach was like, "What?" Looking at me like I just
what is that?
Said something really bad.
Doesn't sound like a nice word to me, but from far away, what do I know?
You're learning some Spanish.
Excuse me for thinking that on occasion Heath Oaks may be prone to say something that I don't recognize, and I approach with caution.
That's good, Zach, because that's so true.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't seem like it would come from you.
Yeah.
Well, because I make up a lot of words.
Yeah,
like I'm like the king of making up words.
Oh, really?
Some good words in there, though.
Because I don't know. I mean, grammar and all of that has never been my strong suit at all. So like, I will get to talking fast and literally just
make up words,
make up stuff, and
just slip two words together.
Like, Jenny, you are widows.
It's so funny. And like Jenny was like the first person ever to be like, wait, stop. What did you just say?
Yeah.
You know, like I one time it was I was talking about Waller. You know, go down there and Waller, and Chad goes, dude, are you trying to say wallow? Oh, I don't know. Waller. That's I'm grown up. All the redneck boy go Waller and that stuff. I didn't know you actually say wallow is the actual correct word.
Yep.
I just said Waller.
So where did you come up with Widow? Where did you get that from?
I mean, I grew up. I would say that it was half Hispanic, half white. Like my school, it was majority.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, so
so I worked
East
on
Texas,
plant farms
right? Yeah.
my whole life. You know.
Gotcha.
And so I you know, just growing up, you know, around a whole bunch of Hispanic stuff, you hear a bunch of little, you know, not just the cuss words. We're gonna put Brighton next year into a Spanish immersion.
Yeah.
Oh,
school,
nice.
you know, because I mean, look, I don't know about y'all, but I wish that when I was 2, I would have from get go
learned a language.
Would have been learning and known too. Like if you if you can speak Spanish and English, you can talk to 80-85% of the world.
True.
And doing it young, I mean, that's a leg
your
up.
brain is a sponge.
Yes.
You pick it up. It's easy.
That would have been great, you know. So we got a lot of her books are Spanish.
Good for you.
And you know, our nanny speaks to her just in Spanish.
Nice.
And you know, I just think it's a huge leg up if you can speak Spanish and English.
Yeah,
man.
Does Jenny speak Spanish?
She can understand a lot.
She sounds just like me. It's like Spanglish going on.
Right.
She can, like when we went on our honeymoon in Chile, or Chile, I guess.
Chile.
Yeah. She was enough to be able to, at times, to be able to communicate with the people enough to figure out things we needed. She could hear enough and say enough to do whatever.
Oh.
But there have been times in her life she's like done the whole Rosetta Stone, whatever, to try to learn Spanish and then quit in the middle of it all.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Speaking of smart people, our next headline on a show I think many of us statistically hold near and dear to our hearts.
This has got to be a favorite of yours, I bet.
Honestly, not really.
No, really.
I'm
you for that.
I'm one of those millennial.
What about you, Matt?
Cord cutters.
Is this Matt may not even know what that
I'm
shows.
not. Fill me in on the story.
No,
first,
the headline.
I can't remember.
Yes. Good. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
The Big Bang Theory cast shed tears.
Oh no, not one of my favorites. Yeah.
He's like, no, instantly.
The Big Bang Theory cast shed tears when they learned the new season would be the last. When the Big Bang Theory ends its 12-season run in May, a lot of people are going to be upset, especially and not limited to the cast of the show. Some of the stars, including Jim Parsons, who plays Sheldon, and Kaylee Cuoco, who plays Penny, posted the reaction on Instagram shortly after the announcement. Penny, Kaylee Cuoco, said, "When I heard the news, I went through a terrible week. I was so upset. I cried every single day." Everybody seems to be pretty upset this show's ending, especially the fans, especially the cast. It's been on for 12 years. There are kids walking and talking that haven't been around as long as this show. So some people are, you know,
I don't have anything against show. I think like if it's on, I watch it and I think it's funny. I laugh.
Yeah, CBS. It's great. It's comedy. Throw it on.
It's got to be like for me to get like really like into a show like where I watch everything, it's got to be. I like the not just like the shows that are just ongoing, the ones that have the storyline, you know, like the Breaking Bad, the
a little deeper, a little more dramatic.
Drama, complex.
And you know, the ones that you can't, you know, like a Big Bang Theory, you can turn on any of them at any season and just watch it.
And 30 minutes and you're done.
But so the ones that, I don't know what the difference they probably call them in the TV world, but like the ones that, you know, Breaking Bad, you're not just going to pick it up in season 3 and watch one.
No.
You can't do that. You got to watch it from the beginning. So I'm the ones that you got to watch all of them type thing.
Right, like a narrative structure. A little bit of drama, a little bit of
I would have never seen
bite
Keith as this being a gung-ho on the show.
Yes, it's kind of funny. So Keith is actually like this introvert nerd guy, and he loves nerdy shows, and this is one of his favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll pop in if it's on and watch it, but I'm like, whatever.
It's funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Yeah. But I mean, I could see how the cast and crew would be sad about this. I mean, 12 years of hard work of, you know, day in and day out.
It's made them all a lot of money.
A lot of money, a lot of opportunities that came from the show, and that's what they're known for. That's what they're living, breathing, and that's what their soul is.
I think
right
that
now.
head guy was like making $15 million a season.
Insane.
He was making a lot. The Steve Urkel of the Big Bang Theory. Yeah. Sheldon.
Oh yeah, he is the new Steve Urkel. Yeah.
Big time. Yeah, totally. He's the nerd. Yeah, a lot of people were bummed about this, and I guess what's the spin here? What's the headline? Or what's the second shot? I should say.
Mine was really like, you know, all good things will need to come to an end, and it's always going to be for the good and the right things and for the betterment of you. You're not going to see it then. You're not going to realize it. You're going to think the world is ending. You may be sitting in that position where something has happened that, you know, you lost your job, you some relationship you had has gone really sour and you're not understanding why. A run at anything that you're doing comes to that close and maybe it wasn't on your own terms, and so you really feel like you've been done wrong, and this is life.
Right.
You
always.
This happens.
Good things come to an end. Yes. And you got to learn how to process it and then move on from it. Because apparently, obviously, the producers of Big Brother, so we're done with this. Yep. We're going to move on and grow. Whereas the other ones are like, wait, we're not ready to grow yet. So somewhere, even in life, someone's ready to grow, someone's ready to stay there, they're not ready to grow yet.
I'm one of those that I honestly believe that it is hard to really be at the top of your game and 100% into a passion of something for longer than 10 years. I really almost think it's about 10 years, you know, because you have all those people that maybe were a leader of this certain company or this certain thing that was killing it, everybody's loved, and then, you know, but like somebody who comes into it after 18 years, and they go, well, this person's really not that great. They're getting burnt out, right? Like, and sometimes you need it out of your hands to end it, so you will go recreate what you're doing and go, you know, drive something else inside yourself. You know?
Reinvent yourself. It's always about reinvention. So when I was doing fitness modeling for 5 years, I knew that was a short-term career.
Yep.
And I loved every single moment of it, you know. But after 5 years, it had its window of time, just like the show has. Everything has a window of time, and then it's time to move on. And it's bittersweet, but when you look back, you're like, wow, it prepared me for this in life.
Yeah, and I kind of, you know, I know I must sound like a broken record to the Second Shot fans that listen to every episode, is the Steve Jobs quote, you can never connect the dots forwards, you can only connect them backwards. And I absolutely believe this 100%, that no matter what happens to me, gets thrown out at it, that I have faith that in the end it's for the betterment. And I may not think it's fair. I may think that it's getting pulled too short. I may have all of that right now, but I can look back at everything that's went wrong to me, everything that I thought shouldn't have ended or whatever it was, and I can connect those dots backwards, and it led to that next thing that maybe that next thing wasn't the smoking gun, but it was the thing that thing led me to that now has led to whatever it is I'm loving. And if it wouldn't have came to an end, then I never would have gotten there.
And there's a lot of people when a show like this ends that forget, like, I don't know. I think of, this isn't a great example, but the show Breaking Bad you're talking about ran for 5 seasons. That show was winning Emmys, had incredible writing. Like, it was a tremendous show. And at 5 seasons, they were like, we're done. And people were upset. They were like, what do you mean you're done? Like, you're in your prime, you're in a heyday, but like, you got to know when to
stop.
fold them, I guess. Yeah, you got to be like, you know what? We had a good thing. It'd be better to stop now and let it ride out like that than to just run it into the ground.
And that's it. But Marcy, isn't that the hardest thing to know when it's time to call it quits on something?
It is.
And when it's time to, because don't be a quitter. Don't give up. Keep pushing, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Well, when you're in it, you don't know.
No.
You're like, no, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. But then when all of a sudden they're like, pulled the hammer on you and they're like, nope, we're done. You're like, oh, wait a minute, what am I going to do now? What's my life? Like, think of what they're probably thinking. What am I going to do after this? What's the next thing?
Sure.
But that next thing will be, like, you have a season, right?
Yep.
And that season prepares you for the next season, whatever that is in life.
And that's so true. That's what you got to think about your life is in seasons. I
Definitely.
mean, that's what I also think is so critical. You hear about these people with marriages and stuff, right? That go, well, the person I'm with, they're going through a divorce, whatever, and they're like, well, the person I'm with has changed. Well, yes, you're both going to. I mean, and I think that's a misconception of marriage to people is that it's like, well, you married me knowing this or that. It's like, no, that I think the biggest thing about marriage is understanding you've got to know that you've got to, it's kind of like that knowing not go ahead and try to overcome everything that's ever going to be a conflict, but how to handle conflict. Like that's more important than, all right, let's go ahead and address these issues of do you want kids, do you want this, do you want that? No, let's address how do we handle conflict with inside our marriage because it's going to come.
True.
How do we handle change with inside each other? And that's why it's got to be, you have to have in it more than whatever it is at that moment, understanding that change happens. How do you change together? How can you work together? How can you handle those seasons that come? That's more important than anything.
Right, because you change by yourself, and then also you change with your partner. Same as the show, they're changing as actors, right? And they're learning and they're growing in their season of acting. And whoever called it kibosh, they've changed and they've grown too. So it's how do they change and grow together in this and learn from it, Because there's always a lesson in things. When you have that season, you're like, what did I learn? What can I get from this? When I move on to the next thing, then I'm like, I can take this tool or skills or this knowledge to the next, my tool belt for the next season of life.
And it's so much easier said than done though when you're in it, right? Like right now, it's easy for us to sit here and talk about, but we're not, we're not getting hit with our livelihood being pulled out from under us, right?
Right.
But I would tell you that if you just have faith that in the end it's going to work out for you, if you, and even if you're in that good spot, if you're in that 6th season of Big Bang, right? Like there's obviously a lot longer to go. You're in the middle of that heyday. Everything's going great. That's the time to really be setting yourself up for of understanding that when, having a mental preparedness for if change happens, I know it's going to be for the betterment. And having that about your life as a whole, that way, roll with the punches because the punches are going to come your way and it's going to be how you handle them and how you deal with them more importantly than trying to go ahead and dodge the punches because the punches are going to come. How do you handle it when it happens? And I hope that if you're in that moment that something's changing or something's been pulled out and stopped right now, that this can encourage you to have faith that know that you're going to connect these dots backwards. This is going to lead you to, it may be 2 or 3 more steps before you realize what it's done, but I can guarantee you that if you have faith in the end, it's going to work out, that it's going to be something that's going to be bigger and better of a season than you ever possibly thought was actual, like on the reality of this earth. It's going to be so much better for you. So we're going to learn a little bit more about Marcia on the 3rd segment of Second Shot.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Second Shot with Keith Oakes still to come.
You guys have been listening to Second Shot and hearing us talk about it. You need to go pick up my book, Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. You can get it on Amazon in a paper book. You can also hear this beautiful voice of mine in audiobook style on Audible or anywhere you're going to get your audiobooks. Guys, this book took a lot of time to put into it, and I believe it can really be some life-changing stuff to help you on your path to success. And hopefully you're going to fail your way to success just like I did. Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. Amazon.com, Audible.com, audiobooks, paper books, everything. Get it, share it with your people, and I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Go pick it up today.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN. Every time.
Oh, I was waiting. I was hoping. I was wondering if Zach or Matt would do the other part of the Brighton.
What's the other part?
Zach,
I remember that. I remember that.
Woo!
Woo!
All right.
Marcia,
I got shown up by Marcia.
High five.
And now they're high-fiving, Matt. What are we going to do about this?
Come on, Brighton's part of the show. Don't
I
you know
know.
this?
Yeah.
I remembered the. I forgot about the woo.
They're showing us up.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, because you did the. And I was like, Brighton, of course. Yeah.
I can't wait till she can talk enough to have her on one of
Oh
them.
my
Like, it would
gosh.
be
Man.
hilarious.
It's going to be
she's
all over the
cute.
place.
I have a feeling she's not going to have a shortage of words at all.
Probably
And she has
not.
to do her signature.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Well, the
It's
steady
so
supply
funny.
of ginger ale in
It's
hand.
been hilarious. On the third segment, guys, as we typically do, is take your emails or your questions or bring up some of the stuff in our Second Shot Facebook group. Go find it. But today we're going to get into some of Marcia's story and kind of what she does and who she is and let you get to know her. But also remember our Second Shot Facebook group. Go look it up. Join it. It's great. We have a great community. And just so you know, I forgot who it was, but thank you for posting about the items on the website we talked about last time. I can go make it. Maybe we can get the Second Shot swag.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, somebody posted something there that would look like a good deal. I've clicked on, I've read it, I've looked into it, and I'm going to keep looking into it. So thank you for sending that suggestion. Second Shot Facebook group, or you can send us an email at secondshotcast@gmail.com. Also, we just do it all the time, but it's like a rating and a review on iTunes
Every time.
is huge. Or share the episode. Like, click the 3 dots and share it on your Facebook or whatever it is for your people to see. Share the video we posted on the Second Shot group and all that. Like, share it and let's let the world know about Second Shot.
We wouldn't keep harping on it if it wasn't a big deal. So do us
Yeah.
a solid, like and share, please. Thanks.
And so to get into Marcia, Jenny and I and Marcia and Keith met. I'm trying to think. It was a while back. I mean, it's been several years. I would think by now, right? A couple years. at
Yeah,
least?
it's been a couple of years. Me, Jen, what did we do? It was like the top 10 most influential
women in Dallas.
Yes,
That's right.
That
That's
was
it.
that event. I knew it was an event.
Yeah,
So-
that was it. That was over 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And as she just said, she was top 10, most influential in Dallas. As she's been on TV several times, being studied. She's all over the internet as an influencer in her world that I'm gonna let her get into. But me, I always judge people based on their spouses,
Oh, nice. I'm glad you like Keith, right?
and I do. I like Marcia. But then I meet Keith, and I really like Keith even more. Like, he's such a cool. Like,
Why
I'm like,
didn't we
okay,
have Keith
then
on the
you're a good
show?
person, Marcia. And it's kind of like Aaron with Tiffany, right? He's like, I like Tiffany. I
oh,
met Aaron,
sure.
and I really
Yes.
like had the man crush then.
we
know,
did
it's
have
like,
both on the show.
But
I heard you had a bromance with.
I did. I love Aaron. I think Aaron's awesome. We had him on the show too.
Yeah, he was on the
Nice.
show.
Yeah, and but every time we've been around, like you and Keith, and you're just you're such a real, authentic, genuine person.
Thank you.
And that comes across on your social media, and as somebody who actually knows you, that is 100% accurate about you and who you are, and that's why I kind of wanted you on, because I know a little bit of your story. And I know what you're doing now with your business and how well it's going. And, you and Keith have such a healthy relationship. And I just wanted to be able to get everybody to kind of get to know you a little bit more and
Right.
see the things you do, because there's nothing more than somebody who is a successful entrepreneur that's authentic, that's real, that's genuine, that's not selling crap, that's not, that's something that the more of the world needs to be seen.
I
And,
appreciate that.
yeah,
It took a
and
lot
so-
of hard work to get there.
So I want you to kind of tell your story and let the second shooters, know a little bit about you.
Well, I've had my fair share of second shots in this world for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. You keep working in the brand name. I appreciate
huh?
it. That's synergy.
No, but I mean, it's so true in life. I mean, I feel like I've been a cat. I've had 9 lives.
Okay.
And I always tell people you have different seasons of life and you just kind of reinvent yourself. But,
Sure.
reinvent yourself for the better, not for the worse.
Mm-hmm.
So my story is before I was the healthinista, and if you guys know who I am, Marcia Prince, I've done all kinds of amazing stuff. My highlight reel, like winning Miss Bikini Universe. I've been in tons of, fitness magazines. Just this year I got nominated top 10 trainers in the world. So just all these great, amazing things. But without it, it came with a major behind the scenes, because people see my highlight reel and judge me like, oh, you're so lucky, you're so beautiful, you're so this, you're so
Everybody
that.
loves the highlight
They
reel.
love the highlight reel.
That's what it's all about.
And when I do keynote speeches and I show the amazing parts of me, I'm like, that's my highlight reel. That's just a blip moment in time. all the hard work is done behind the scenes.
I loved you showing the picture of your high school pictures and stuff. I went like, oh my God, I never would have dreamed that was you.
I had a legit mullet. I had glasses, and it was awful. It was
Nice.
awful. Yeah. And now,
Well, it was probably cool back then, but I mean.
oh, I don't know if it was even
No?
cool back then. No, it was an
No.
awful mullet. It wasn't a cool mullet either. So I had this awful hairdresser do the, you know what I mean? You think it's going to be cool like the beautiful girls in the movies,
Sure.
like Weird Science. I was like, ooh, I want
Just
her
like
hair.
Weird Science. yeah.
Yes. And then you get it and you're like, what happened? I didn't look like her.
John Hughes, no.
Yeah.
Where
so,
did you grow up?
So I was born in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
And then we actually lived in Spain for a little bit growing up,
Okay.
and then we moved back to Oklahoma City. So I was a child of domestic violence, believe it or not. So for 18 years, well, I wouldn't say 18, 17 and a half, I actually ran away from home. So it was 18 years of physical and mental abuse. So I always feel like things happen for you in life, and you don't know that till you get out of it.
So when you say 17, 18 years, you mean just growing up?
Growing up.
It was a not a healthy household.
Not a healthy household, very toxic. My father was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
He was very physically and mentally abusive. Not just 4 of us kids, but not to just us, our mom too.
Yeah.
So we got to watch us I ran away home at 17 and a half, but everyone stayed there until 18 and kind of aged out. I'm like, get me out of this, let me run for the hills.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just kind of ran away and was like, I'm done with this. I need to find my life. When you're in that situation and it's not a good thing, and you are mentally basically brainwashed that you're not worthy, you think, oh my God, there's got to be something better. Because deep inside, even though I was told that every day, I thought there has got to be something better.
Yeah.
And when you live that, you don't it's your norm. You're like, maybe I am a piece of crap. 'Cause
Yeah.
my dad called me that. But you don't know that. And then I was starting to pick people and friends because that was my reality. So I was picking abusive relationships,
Yep.
abusive friendships, because that was the vibe I was attracting. That was my level.
Yeah.
And so after, it's kind of interesting. So the first 28 years, I tell people, and I'm 44 now, it was my most unhealthiest time of my life. Unhealthy, from mental abuse, physical abuse, from relationships to friendships to my own personal. There was no self-love.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, and believe it or not, Keith is my angel, my husband. Believe it, I always tell people he's my first life coach.
Yeah.
Aw.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's actually the first man I've ever been with that has never physically or mentally abused me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's kind of crazy. And we've been together 15 years.
But it's amazing what a real strong partner can
Yes.
do for somebody.
It is.
Yeah.
He actually gave me wings and let me fly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. He was so different from the rest because I'm so used to like growing up, screaming and yelling, fighting,
Yeah.
Just chaos and drama and toxic, relationships and friendships. And then when I met Keith, he was nothing like that. And
He's so laid
I'm trying
back.
to poke the bear.
He seems so laid
He
back.
is very laid back. I'm trying to poke the bear, and he's like not having it. I'm like, oh, you're so different.
Wow. Yeah.
He's like, who's this crazy person? So he was actually the first one that said, hey, I think you need to go to therapy. And I was
Yeah.
like, I wasn't even a trainer. I wasn't healthy. I was eating McDonald's still and, drinking Cokes and all
Sure.
this stuff. And, people see me today, they're like, what? You were, you drank, you're drinking Coke and ate McDonald's and you were negative? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, but you can change mindset. So
Yeah.
when he told me that I needed to, basically go to therapy, I thought, oh, he thinks I'm crazy. And so I didn't take that well,
Yeah.
as you can imagine from my upbringing. And he was like, no, he's like, it's for your good. It's
Yeah.
mental health. And he actually explained that to me. And I was like, oh. And Keith was like, yeah, I went through a bad breakup. I got, not engaged anymore. She broke up with me. He said, I actually went to therapy for it. And I was like, oh, you did? And he was like, yeah. He goes, I just had to get over the hump of it. So I actually
Don't you think if the stigma of therapy could be removed, that a lot of
Yes.
people would be so much healthier?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yes.
understanding in general that going to a therapist is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's really a positive because you're gonna you to be able to
Oh, my
have
goodness.
to get that out is key. I tell people all the time, it's like I have one that I go to on a regular basis because I love to understand why I do or think
Yes.
certain ways, and
Yep.
when they can explain it, I can help it, I can get better. I truly wish the stigma would be removed
Me
because
too.
if
Yeah.
more people would take that step, they would
Right.
be healthier, I think, in general.
Right. And I mean, I think even regular people
I
should
agree.
go to therapy too. And to this day, I still go to therapy.
I do too, even though I
Yeah.
just go on a regular
Yeah.
just because it's like not
It's healing.
not to heed off of an event, but
Sure.
just to make sure and kind of stay fresh with stuff.
Yeah.
I agree. And Keith and I go for marriage counseling too,
Yeah.
just kind of like a
Jenny
oil
and I do
tune
as
up
well.
for your car,
Yes.
and just to get over things that even if we're not in a bad place, we're always going to have just like our own opinions.
Yes.
But how do we meet together, or how do we disagree? Cordially, and just kind of move on.
And Jenny and I have them just kind of on the calendar set.
Yeah, we
That
do
way,
too.
we just go regularly. because if it's like something happens, like we need to go to therapy, it never goes well, you know. But if you just have them scheduled that way, it's just you're constantly
Stuff
working.
comes out.
You're working on your marriage constantly.
I agree. Here I am
that.
15 years later with my husband. I feel like we've known each other in a different, more intimate way than if we would never went to therapy.
I agree.
I probably would have been divorced.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's something that stigma should be removed.
Right. And he was actually, I was going to nursing school at the time, and I wasn't really happy with it. And it was my last year, and he was in his last year of law school. And I was just like, I just went to 4 years of college and about to graduate this last semester, and I don't even want to be a nurse, you know, like, because my mom was a nurse, my grandma was a nurse, I got pushed into it. It's kind of one of those family things.
Yeah.
And then on the side, ironically, while I was eating my cheeseburger, I like to go work out.
Yeah.
And Keith was like, why don't you do something in like physical therapy or occupational therapy or become a personal trainer? And at first I thought, a personal trainer, that's below me. You know, it's beneath me. Like, I had such a negative view of things. I would never take things and with an open mind and be like, you got a point, or I could see that. So he actually had taught me different ways. Like, he actually noticed my passion before I did.
Yeah.
So anyways, long story short, I went to therapy, started getting my mind right. That was the most important, was my mind. It was about self-love, just different things for self-love. So my therapist, you know, just told me different ways, and told me even at that time, she goes, I know you have an abusive relationship with your parents. You might need to write them off for a little bit, just so we can get your mind right, so you can get to a different place and perspective and look back.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, I don't know if I can do that. But then I took her, I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I need to do that, because if I keep getting positive with you and Keith and then go back to the negativity, it's like this awful hamster wheel. Which it's kind of like yo-yo dieting. You go on this diet, then you get off. Then you go on this diet, you get off. So I did. I wrote them off for a while so I can get my mind right.
Yeah. And
it was the best thing I've ever done. So moving forward, that Keith's like, oh, you love, you know, fitness. So I ended up being a personal trainer, and I fell in love with it. And I would say the workout part then made me start thinking about what I put into my body.
Yeah.
Then I was like, maybe I should change the way I eat too. So I did. So I started changing things. But I went from the standard American diet, you know, which is like cheeseburgers, hamburgers, anything that go in my mouth, to like all these crazy yo-yo diets. It was on the shelf. I was like, ooh, the South Beach diet, it's out. Ooh, Atkins diet's out.
Yeah.
So then I went from yo-yo dieter, which wasn't good either, as a personal trainer. And then I was that trainer. I was like, you need to eat a lot of protein, all this meat.
Yeah.
So it's funny, even my evolution of a personal trainer,
Yep.
I would say even a health coach for 15 years, has changed. So yeah, I no longer was like eating all those crazy stuff, or, you know, fancy marketing. We fall for fancy marketing. It's like fat-free, sugar-free, this, that. So I was like, no, I just need to eat real whole foods. At the end of the day, you learn it's really basic. It's eating real whole foods. It's getting your body moving and the mental muscles. So when I teach my clients,
and it's not a quick fix.
Not a quick fix.
The yo-yo diets are what quick fixes, because they can't sustain them.
Exactly. And like anybody can lose 10, 40, 50 pounds on a quick fix.
Yeah.
But you can't sustain it. And I tell my clients when they come to me, when they're like, I want to lose 20 pounds or 100 pounds, I'm like, you can lose that. You know, do you want to get to your goal weight or your goal lifestyle?
Yeah.
Let's focus off weight, and let's focus on your lifestyle behaviors that's going to get you there, where you're able to keep it off, sustain it, and live happy while you have, you know, your little fun creature treats, you know, that life brings you, that you have to have with friends and family, but not overindulging. Because I feel like they're all or nothing. They're like on the standard American diet, eating all crazy, not working out, and then they like cut everything and then eat this crazy restrictive diet, and then they start working out, and you're like, all right, that's not going to work for anybody.
Not long term.
Not long term. I've learned it the hard way. But yeah, it was a lot of hard work to get healthy. So when people are like, oh, you can't relate, I'm like, excuse me? I can relate. I was the most negative person on the planet. I eat McDonald's every single day. And a little side note, I worked at McDonald's and Taco Bell, and I ate the stuff every single day. So.
Jenny worked at Taco Bell too when she was young.
My mom worked at McDonald's. Yeah. Hey.
So, you know, and that's where I actually became addicted to fast food. Like, I loved it. Cheeseburgers were my thing.
Well, what's not to love?
See, I would have never guessed that about you, because I only know you now.
Not now. No.
So your business, tell them what's the website of your business, and what is your business, and what could, if there's somebody that, you know, could be a potential customer. So what is yours now?
So my business is called Plant Chicks, and we actually train or just educate women only on health. So we have coaching programs for women, and basically we help women rock out with their brock out. That's what we call it. And it's just basically, it's helping women get off diets, because I always say the word diet has die in it. You will die. If you keep going from diet to diet to diet, you're going to die. Let's get you on a sustainable lifestyle where you can be happy in life, and there's no one size fits all.
You're not selling the get rich quick scheme or the get healthy quick scheme. You're selling the long term, actual sustainable.
If you're willing to do
healthy.
the work, willing to do the work.
One little thing at a time. To be healthy long term, not quick.
Right. And a lot of personal trainers out there focus on weight. I focus on non-scale victories. What's a non-scale victory? Because people are always like, what is that? Like not stepping on the scale, of course, but maybe you went to sleep and got 8 hours. That's a non-scale victory. Maybe you drank a gallon of water throughout the day. That's a non-scale victory. Maybe you didn't eat fast food or sugar for the day. Yeah. Hey, you got to take your wins and celebrate them where you can, because if not, you're always going to be like, measuring yourself up to, I can't do this. It's too much. It's too hard. It's too this, or I failed my diet. And then you go back the next day not eating the right foods because you're like, I just messed up. I'm like, I can't do this. Yeah. So I take the focus off the food and incorporate more like fruits and vegetables, and let's focus on your non-scale victories.
So is Plant Chicks?
Plant Chicks.
Now, is it it's not CHICKS, right?
No. Yeah, not like the little baby chicks, but no, it's CHIC, like chic, like Plant Chic, but plantchicks.com.
And they can go to there, and they can also look you up on are you just Marcia Prince on all the
you can go to
networks?
Marcia Prince, or you can even go to Plant Chicks. So that's my business one.
And go there, and they can learn a little bit about all the programming.
Yes.
If they were interested in it, then they could look to sign up with you and connect with you on all social media.
That's correct.
You're out there on everything. You're always putting out a bunch of free content as well.
Always free, yes. Always want to educate people, because obviously I've had people help me along the way. I feel like I need to help others and pay it forward.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I actually want to get more into about you two on the next episode, because you're going to be here for the next podcast as well. And on that third segment, I want, because I got some questions about your story I wanted to ask you about as well on the next episode, since you're going to stick around and do another one with us. But I appreciate you coming. And where can they find you at, Zach?
You can find me at AppleZacintosh on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be on that Facebook page too. And I'll make sure I tag Marcia when I post the show. So if you're looking for her, you can find her there.
And Marcia, on what y'all social networks are you on?
Plant Chicks. Oh, sorry. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Ed Heath Oaks at Ignorance on Fire, and we'll see you next time. I love you guys.
Bye.
You're listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.